Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 20th of December 2018. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few charts. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay guys, so now then let's jump into the charts. Now actually the first one I want to touch on is FTSE. So the FTSE 100 here. So looking at this, certainly yesterday we had a nice sell-off in the equity markets, in the US equity markets after the FOMC meeting. So after its FOMC statement. So but you can see today FTSE managed to rebound here back to the upside here, where it managed to reach the pivot, which was around the 6,750 level approximately there, but currently it's kind of getting on a bit of a slide here again. Let's see if it actually manages to close the day somewhere around here, because if, to be honest, this could be seen as a bit of a positive sign here for the FTSE from the very short-term perspective, because as you can see, it certainly it traveled lower today, and it was trading here below these lows that we saw here around the 6th of December, and that was around the 6,675 level. But you can see that it quickly managed to retrace back up here and get itself towards the pivot. So in a way, this adds a bit of positiveness, let's put it that way, towards the short-term outlook. We could see maybe a bit of a climb back here, especially of course if we get a nice pop above the 6,790 level. So from the very short-term perspective, we're going to keep an eye on this one, because a nice good break above this level could send this index towards a little bit higher levels. This is where we could then aim for the 6,850 level, which is near the 50 EMA, shown here as the red line, or even actually going all the way higher here towards the 6,915, which was not far from the highs of the 13th of December, and also marked the low of the 23rd of November. But for now, still we need to be very careful with this one, because still the overall sentiment around what's concerning the equity market is still bearish, and of course we need to see these good breaks here above this in order to kind of from the very short-term perspective, of course, so that we could aim for a little bit higher here. So on the downside, well, I mean, if this starts dropping below this little area here, below this low of the 19th of December, which was yesterday, and that's approximately around the 6,700 level. If we get a drop below this, then certainly keep your eyes on the 6,675, just only about 25 points away from this breaking point. But if that even doesn't hold, well, further declines could be possible, and this is where we'll have to go back into history, way back into history, and see where we can find this next potential area of support. Certainly we could take this little peak here that we had on the let me just kind of zoom in here a little bit. This little peak that we had around the 4th of July 2016, and that was approximately around the 6,612 level. Let me just quickly put that on our chart. Now this could be our little next potential area of support, and of course if that doesn't hold, we do have another potential good one here, which was marked here by the lows of the 6th of July, just 2 days after, and that would be around the 6,400 and 32-33 area approximately there. So for now, guys, long story short, let me just quickly zoom back in here. Looking at this daily chart, you can see that yes, we did have a nice retracement back to the upside, but it doesn't really mean yet that we could travel higher from here. We need to see this nice good break here above the 6,790 level approximately there in order to kind of aim for higher levels, at least in the short run, because overall you can see that we're still trading below this medium term downside resistance line taken from the peak of August, let's put it that way. And we could maybe test that, and if it continues to hold, we could see another sell-off. So for now, be very careful. Let's see how today's US session is going to go ahead with, and let's see how tomorrow's day is going to open. And like I said, we could see either a nice pop here above the 6,790 level, which could be seen as a nice positive thing for the in the short run, or actually is going to continue sliding further down here where we'll break the 6,675 level. And if we do, this is where we will start aiming for lower levels. Jumping into silver and looking at this daily chart here. Now let me just get rid of a few of these. These are from the previous analysis that we did. So looking at silver, you can see that it continues to climb higher. Today, today's daily candle is kind of marking a nice bull ride here to the upside here. So, but the only problem here is it's currently getting held near the 14.80 level. Now, if we jump into the 4-hour chart on this one, you can see this is from a better kind of perspective here. So you can see that we're overall, yes, we are climbing higher. We're still trading above this upside support line taken from the lows of the 14th of November, but it's currently getting held here by this 14.80 level approximately there. Last time it was tested here in well, actually yesterday, and also here on the 13th of December. So quite an important level this is. If we get a nice daily candle close here above this area, then yep, we could then target the 14.91 area, or even actually going all the way towards the psychological 15 level. So for now, be very careful. On the downside, from the very short-term perspective, you could in a way keep your eyes on this little area here at around 14.72, marked here by the highs of the 18th of December. So a nice good drop here below this could of course open the path towards slightly lower levels, but for those who are on a bit more cautious side, let's put it that way, you could in a way target this little area of support, which previously was marked here by the intraday swing high of yesterday, and that was approximately around the 14.65 zone. A nice good drop below this could potentially send this commodity back down towards a retest of the 14.55, or even actually this upside support line here that I was talking about. So there are some good potential areas of support here underneath, but again, in order to kind of consider those, we need to see a nice reversal here back below the 14.72 initially, and then a nice good break below the 14.64-65 area approximately there. And this is, like I said, this is where you could then aim for these lower areas here. But for now, judging by this 4-hour chart, it seems that it wants to continue traveling further up, but again, for better confirmation of the upside, we need to get this nice good break here and a close of the daily candle above this 14.80 level. Jumping into Ethereum, now this one is now establishing a new trend line. Of course, for now is just a short-term trend line. Let's see how this develops further, but to be honest, after last time when we were looking at this one, and I was telling you guys to keep an eye on this little range that we've got in Ethereum between the 81 level here on the downside and the 96.50 level on the upside. So since then, of course, on Tuesday we had a nice pop here through this upper side of this range, and since then it kind of continues to travel further up here. Of course, let's see how it plays out near this little area here at around 112 zone, because as you can see, it's quite an important area for now that we're going to be keeping an eye on. A nice good pop above this certainly could send to retest the 200 EMA here shown as the black line, but if if the crypto gets above the 200, this 200 EMA, and kind of closes the day above this line here, then I mean this could turn out to be quite interesting for the bulls, because we could see this traveling further up here towards the 125 level approximately there, which was near the highs of the 28th of November. So some good potential areas here, but again, for now, be very cautious. We need to see this nice good pop above the 112 area, so that we could then aim for this 200 EMA, which is just about $2 higher, but probably this could just be seen as a nice pit stop for the bulls before they could potentially drive this one further up here. So yep, for now guys, overall this is looking more bullish than bearish. But on the downside, of course, let's not exclude the downside scenario. If we get a nice break here below this below this very short-term upside support line, well, to be honest, well, in order for us to get more comfortable with lower levels, with much lower levels, we would probably need to see a nice good drop here below this previous upper bound of the range here, which is near the 96.50 level, and only then we'll consider further slide down here, maybe even going all the way towards the lower side of this previous range. But for now, judging by the picture that we're seeing here, it seems to be more bullish than bearish, but let's see how it plays out near the 112 level, which was previously marked here by the highs of the 4th of December. Jumping into GBPUSD, again, it's struggling. It keeps on struggling with pushing higher. Let's put it that way. Again, yes, I mean it tried to reach this level at 127 today, which it did. It reached it, but it kind of failed. It's now failing again to move above it. So, and now kind of retracing back down towards this 126.60 level. Now, I was talking about this one in my previous video, and I was telling you guys to keep an eye on this 126.60, because it continues to act as some sort of like a magnet for this pair, because of course, going back here into near history, we can see that it acted as a very nice area of support here back in August. Also held the rate from dropping lower on the 4th of December, but then got broken on the 10th, and now it kind of continues to hang around this area. So even though it's now above this little down, or should I say short-term downside resistance line, yes, it is above that, but still is kind of struggling to overcome this 127 level. So this is what we're going to be looking at for now, in order to kind of be on the cautious side. So a nice good pop above the 127 level could open the path towards these higher levels, but for now, until we get that, it's, to be honest, we're gonna take a more neutral position here, because even for us to consider a moves lower here, or even aiming for lower levels, let's put it that way, we need to see a nice good drop here below the 126.10. You can see that yesterday it tried to break below it. At some point, yes, it did a little bit, but quickly got back above the 126.10 and pushed higher. So this is where we're gonna keep an eye on, this 126.10 for the downside. This could be that gateway that could lead the pair towards much lower levels. But for now, just stay put. Keep an eye on the 127.7 on the upside and the 126.10 on the downside. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's AUDNZD. Now, looking at this 4-hour chart, you can see that it continues to trade below this little short-term short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 26th of October, but it tried to push higher today but failed again, and certainly this is where it's stuck now. It's stuck between these two levels, the 1.0560 on the upside here, and on the downside the 1.05 level. So in a way, this lower level here, the 1.05, will be our gateway here for the potential move lower here, maybe towards the previous lows that we saw here around, or should I say yesterday, and on the 10th of December, and that was approximately around the 1.0440 level. Now, of course, if that doesn't hold, further declines could be possible, but for now we're just going to play it short, gonna play it simple. A nice good drop below this 1.05 level could lead towards the decline towards the 1.0440, and on the upside we need to see in this nice good pop here, not only above this downside resistance line, the short-term downside resistance line, but also a nice good break here above the 1.0560 level, and only then we'll aim for the previous highs that we saw here around the 14th of December, or even actually going a little bit higher towards the 1.0625 marked here by the high of the 4th of December. So guys, there are some interesting trading opportunities developing here, so be very careful, of course, with this market, and let's see how this plays out. But for now, I hope you have a fantastic evening for those who have finished the day, but for those who are just starting, I hope you have a fantastic trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow at my Traders Espresso, and that's 7 o'clock GMT time. So yep, for now, bye bye.